Hello friends, today we will be sharing the story of creation. Let's see if we have all we need to be ready. All that's left to do is begin. What is the biggest present you ever got? Maybe it was something like a bicycle, or maybe a trip. There are some friends who maybe have a swimming pool at their house. That would be one great big present. Or maybe you wanted a doll or a dollhouse. Those are all wonderful, great big presents. Oh, one time a friend told me that they received a puppy for Christmas. That present is a present that's alive. Sometimes there are presents that are so big that it's hard for us to see them. The only way to see them is to go back to the beginning, or maybe even before the beginning. In the beginning, there was, in the beginning, there wasn't very much. In the beginning, there was nothing, except perhaps an enormous smile, but there was no one there to see it. Then, on the first day, God gave us the gift of light. So now there is not just darkness, but there is light and dark. Now I don't mean just the light in the light bulb or in the car lights at night. I don't mean just this light or that light, but I mean all of the light that is light. God gave us the gift of light, that all light comes from. When God saw the light, God said, "It is good." And that was the end of the first day. On the second day, God gave us the gift of water. Now, I don't just mean the water in a water glass or the water in a bathtub or shower. I don't even mean just the water in a river or lake. I don't even mean just the water in the ocean or the water that comes down from the sky in rain. I mean all of the water that is water. This is the water that all of the rest of the water comes from. This is the firmament. It divides the waters above and the waters below. When God saw the water, God said, "It is good." And that was the end of the second day. On the third day, God gave us the gift of dry land. God divided the water and the dry land and gave us the gift of green and growing things. When God saw the dry land and the green and growing things, God said, "It is good." And that was the end of the third day. On the fourth day, God gave us the gift of day and night. God gave us a way to count our days. Here's the great light that rules the day, the sun. And here are the lights that rule the night, the moon and the stars. When God saw the day and the night, our way to keep time, God said, "It is good." And that was the end of the fourth day. On the fifth day, God gave us the gift of all the creatures that fly in the air. Not just the birds, but all of the creatures that fly, and all of the creatures that swim in the water. All of them. When God saw all of the creatures that fly and all of the creatures that swim, God said, "It is good." And that was the end of the fifth day. On the sixth day, God gave us the gift of all the creatures that walk upon the earth. The creatures that walk with 2 legs, like you and like me, and all of the creatures that walk with many legs. When God saw the creatures that walk with 2 legs, and the creatures that walk with many legs, and the gifts of all the other days, God said, "It is very good." And that was the end of the 6th day. On the 7th day, God rested and gave us the gift of a day to rest and to remember the great gifts of all the other days. There is nothing here because people go to different places to remember the great gifts. You can put something there to show your favorite place to remember. It might be in your backyard, by a tree, in a church, or in your room. It might be in the mountains or by the ocean or a lake. I don't know where your place is. Only you know. What I do know is that this day is so special that sometimes the Christian people mark it with a cross. And the Jewish people mark it with a star. The Star of David. Or sometimes they mark it with 2 candles. Now I wonder which one of these days you like the best. I wonder which one of these days you are in. I wonder if we could take any of these days out and still have all that we need. This is the day of rest. This is the day that God made the creatures with 2 legs and the creatures with many legs. This is the day that God created the birds of the air and the creatures of the air and the creatures that swim in the sea. This is the day that God gave us the sun to rule the day and the moon and the stars to rule the night, to mark the days and the seasons. This is the day that God created the dry land, separated it from the water, and gave us all the great green and growing things. This is the day that God created all the water that is and separated it with the firmament. And this is the day that God created light, all the light that is in the world. And this is the great nothing that was, except for maybe the smile upon God's face. Thank you, friends, for sharing the story of creation with me.